Hello there. These are some updates in the OrthoMesh 3D script, and I will show you what the new version has. So once we open Blender, we have the cube in our scene. So I'm going to select it and press X on the keyboard to delete it. Then I'm going to press N, and here's the OrthoMesh add-on. So we're going to import a model. Let's work with the same model that we were working before, which is the forearm, and I'm going to import it. Now, if you notice here, we click again, model to origin, and then I have added a button that you can zoom to select it automatically. Now, I'm going to select my object, and as you can see here, this is one object, radius and ulna. So we want to separate those, and this is an automated process that I have in the new script. So I'm going to go into segmentation, edit mesh. All vertices are selected. I'm going to deselect them. I'm going to go into face select. I'm going to zoom in, select here approximately at the radius. And then as you see here, once you select one face, you can grow that selection by selecting the nearby surfaces by hitting plus or minus. So in this situation, we're going to hit plus and keep selecting it. And then I'm going to change my position so I can see what I'm doing. And now I'm selecting more and more. As you see, there's connection of the radius to the ulna to the DRUJ, and that's why our selection expanded into the ulna. To correct that, what you do is you're going to use the circle select. Click on the circle select, and then it gives you a paint tool. Press down the shift key, so you will be deselecting. If you are not pressing down on the shift key, you are selecting, so you are adding to the selection. So we want to have the shift key pressed down, and actually it's better to do this in wireframe mode so you can see more of your selection and deselection. So let's do this here, and keep deselecting the surfaces or the faces, excuse me, that you don't want to be selected. So you're deleting those by painting those selections. And then you can also use the same tool to add to the selection if the growing method has not selected what you want to select. So if I release the shift key and I keep selecting inside here, now I'm adding to the selection, so I have all of my vertices selected, or faces. If you press escape, now you have the entire radius selected. And then you click separate selected, and that is a new object now. So if I go into shaded view and change to my object view, you can see now that this is a separate object. The other button here is the link select all. So if I go into edit mode now and I select one face and I press the select all linked, it will select all the linked vertices. If you have done this from the beginning, because these two bones were linked together, it would have selected again the entire model. So I'm going to go back to object mode. Actually, let's go back to edit mode and deselect everything, and then go back to object mode. So this is a nice new feature of the updated OrthoMesh script. In addition, we have automated the process of separating the bone after you do an osteotomy. So let's demonstrate that. Let's make an osteotomy at the radius. So I'm going to hit blade and make sure you're on object mode when you do that. I'm going to resize it and make it into a blade. Then I'm going to press R for rotation, X for x-axis, and then tap 90. I'm going to move my osteotomy so I can osteotomize the entire width of the bone. I can duplicate this by Control C, Control V, so we have two sides of osteotomy. And now here's what has been updated that makes the process for the osteotomy easier. So we select the target again. So we press Select Target, which is the radius, after we have it selected. And then we'll press the plane that we want to use for our cut and click on the boolean operation. So the cut has been made. Now we can separate the radius easily by using this new button that says Separate Osteotomy. So we have selected the osteotomized radius, and I press this, and you see now that we have separated the radius into two pieces. So this is the distal fragment, and this is the proximal fragment. We can continue the same process with the proximal part of the radius. So select the proximal radius and then click Select as Target, and then press on the osteotomy plane and click Boolean, and now that cuts the proximal radius. And again, I can separate this proximal fragment by clicking Separate Osteotomy. And what I have done fast is I have separated these three pieces. And if I press G on my keyboard, you can see that I have completed the osteotomy more effectively and faster than before. I hope that you find these updates useful and they can speed up the process for your 3D surgical planning.